Hello, everyone. My name is Rochelle Innocent, and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Purpose. Welcome to our channel. Our community is focused on fostering the intellectual and character development in children. We do this through our parent-child workshops that are focused on 4 themes: autonomy, self-efficacy, compassion, and self-concept, in order to cultivate grit, perseverance, and resilience in each child. And we are so thrilled to be offering one of the first of its kind digital, virtual, and continuous learning environments, enabling parents and children to connect from all around the world. At Project Purpose, our overarching mandate is to renew and rebuild family, community, and relationships. Our different social media platforms provide us with an opportunity to have discussions and to create space for all topics that relate to family, community, and relationships with ourselves as well as with others, with a primary focus on mental health and education. More precisely, the ways that the institutions of mental health and education play a role and have played a role in our societies at large. These discussions and debates provide us with an opportunity to think critically about what needs to change within these structures for us to live up to our bold slogan, support, protect, and empower each child through youth-focused development, better known as leadership in juvenescence. We recognize that in valuing our children's leadership potential, this also translates as recreating and co-creating environments, both socially and politically, that will enable our children to thrive. For those of you who are particularly keen on the topic, we also write thought pieces. Every other Sunday, we actually just dropped a thought piece this past Sunday, so be sure to meander over to the website and check out our online content. Now, if it is the case that you are looking for a listening alternative, well, we're available on 12 different podcast platforms for your listening leisure, and we have provided you with access to the links in the description down below. Now, as is the convention, be sure to subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that you are aware of every time you post. And of course, if you like these conversations and you want to keep them going, like, comment, and share this segment. Let's get into it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another segment here on Project Purpose. For those of you who are new, we cover topics that relate to mental health, mental wellness, and education on a week-by-week basis. And today's topic of discussion is mental health. And on the conversation of mental health, I want to talk about the things that I've learned in surviving gossip. And I think that is really important when it comes to gossip, that we develop the skill set, the acumen to rise above it, because all it's looking for, what it's calling for, is a reaction. And I think that we're going to react 100%, but we can choose how we react. And I think that when it comes to smear campaigning, I have survived my fair share, but I have also changed and shifted my mindset around gossip, but specifically around the kinds of people who need to gossip. And I think that maybe if I share this perspective with you, it will give you the insight so that when you choose to rise above, it's really not the difficult choice. It's not going to be hard for you to make the choice to honor yourself in the ways that you respond to gossip and to smear campaigning. So I think first and foremost, I do believe in accountability in all cases. So in all cases, I do believe that people need to be held accountable for the impact that their words have. And I worked in HR in past lives, and we have this spectrum, and the spectrum is really about frequency and impact. And depending on the frequency of a specific behavior or the impact of a specific behavior, it can happen many times before it becomes really detrimental. If like the frequency is high, but the impact is low, or if the impact is high, but the frequency is low, like it could be one thing that spread like wildfire that really had an adverse effect on you, and that can be enough to have really adverse consequences, to generate a consequence that's equivalent to behavior that is repetitive and that happens on an ongoing period of time. So when you think about toxic behaviors, when you think about the things that people do that harm you, I want you to think about the frequency of the behavior and the impact of the behavior. There are certain things, if they're done once or twice, it really is no sweat off our back. It's not really a topic of discussion, but if it's continuously happening, if it's a pattern of behavior, then it's the pattern that really starts to wear out on us. And there are other circumstances where it just needs to happen once and it can have the same effect as if something were to take place over a period of time. So when we think about gossip and the effects of gossip, really it falls within that paradigm, right? It can either be the frequency of the gossip is what makes it detrimental and what makes it harmful, or it could be the severity of what is being said. But in all cases, I want to talk about the makeup of the gossiper, and I think that if we talk about the makeup of someone who needs the gossip, it will give us some perspective either way. So I think the people who like the gossip are the people who crave attention. I have never met someone who felt inclined to gossip about me or about other people who didn't need to be the center of attention, but they wanted to be the center of attention at all costs. So these people often want to be the center of attention, but often are disregarded, are dismissed, and are not the center of attention because they don't necessarily bring value to the table by way of topics of discussion. If all they want is to talk about themselves, but that's not really a topic that people are interested in hearing about, and what they do is they figure out, well, what's a valuable topic? And sometimes that valuable topic happens to be you. And so what this person does is they exchange their need for external validation with you, right? So you're what they put on the table so that they can feel good about themselves, because when they talk about you, people pay attention. When they talk about you, people give them the validation, the sense of importance and status that they're looking for, because often if you're someone who is of value, then you're someone that people want to discuss and want to talk about. And not necessarily in a bad way, but the gossiper is going to pivot that conversation because now you're an object of contention, right? Because if this person has been trying so hard to get attention and to get the attention of specific people and to show that their words carry weight and have value, and they have been unfruitful and unsuccessful, but now they're gaining momentum because they're talking about you, then trust and believe they're going to start talking bad about you, because they are the ones who actually want to be the subject of discussion. They want to be the ones that grab people's attention, that people gravitate towards, that people want to talk about, that people are excited or interested or curious in talking about. And because they're not, then when they offer you up and they get the reaction that they've been looking for themselves, then trust and believe they're going to put dirt on your name. They're going to offer you up on a spit rather than offer you up on a plate. And so I think that when you think about that, when you think about the inner world or some of the inner dialogue of someone who needs to break people down to feel good about themselves, then it gives you a sense of pity, really. And I know most people don't like to be pitied, but I think gossipers are the kinds of people who I would pity, because I've learned that any other reaction is more than what is necessary. I think angry with them puts them on a level playing field. It means I expect of them what I expect of myself. But I think to pity them is the reaction that I would give someone that I know doesn't know better and is making the active choice not to choose better. And so therefore is always going to be in a position where they're never going to get what they want, which is attention, validation, and status, and recognition for what they know and what they share, which is ultimately what they're looking for. But if they always feel inclined to offer people on a spit and not on a plate, and they feel inclined to talk about them, then at some point people are going to recognize that this person just has bad news. And if they start their healing journey, if they're very mindful about the kind of people that they keep around them, people are going to start to be repelled by that kind of human being. So I think that when we think about the gossiper, the makeup of a gossiper, it's someone who wants to be the center of attention, hates you that you're the center of attention without trying, but still they get attention by putting you on a spit. So they offer that up so that they can get the validation that they're looking for. So I think that when you think about that dynamic, that way of managing and navigating in the world around you, it gives you a sense of pity, but it places the gossiper in the right place. Like, it's not, I think, to your benefit to put the gossiper on a pedestal and to think that they have this magic power, that they're super respected. I think that the more someone rips someone apart, people start to pay attention to how it is they treat their subjects, right? And trust that you're not the only person that they're gossiping about. They're gossiping about a lot of people, and some gossipers are like intelligent. They try to be balanced about the feedback that they give, but they're always trying to slant it towards the negative. Their objective is to skew people's perception negatively towards you. And so now I think I'm to flip the script on the audience and the people who are now giving attention and gravitating towards those who are gossiping about you, to those who were interested, who were curious, but now are taking that information and running with it. And I think that there's different kinds of people who are responsive to gossip. I think there are people who are genuinely curious, who don't know you, who maybe don't have the confidence or don't have a reason to approach you, to speak to you one-on-one, to get that insight personally. And so they keep their distance, and instead they have an entourage of people that they trust, whether that trust is misplaced or not, and they trust that these people are going to give them accurate information about you. And so I think with these people, I think they're trying to protect themselves in some way, shape, or form by trusting people to be honest and to be transparent about the information that they share. But I think that that's its own risk, right? And if you're someone who feels the need to receive information secondarily, if you're comfortable receiving secondary information about the people that are the object of your curiosity, then you also have to, I would assume, have a certain degree of control for misrepresentation, right? Any secondary information is subject to having distortions in it, right? So if you're only ever hearing about people through other people, then know that it is very, very unlikely, regardless of how much you trust your entourage, that giving them that kind of power, that giving them the power to influence your choice on the people that you're curious about is not going to end up being to your detriment at some shape or form. There's going to be, at some point, a political interest that interferes with their desire to be honest with you, that is going to make it so that they feel inclined to distort your perception of the person who is the person of interest. So I think that the people who have an entourage who are comfortable receiving information secondarily, I mean, it's their loss at the end of the day if they're not going to do the heavy lifting of getting to know you one-on-one. So when you think about that, when you think about the person who doesn't know you but who's seeking information out about you and doing it the complicated way by asking everyone around you, getting distorted replies and trying to kind of piecemeal the truth with that rather than just like, asking you for a coffee or spending some time with you, then that's the weight that they carry. And I think that that's also a decision in and of itself for you, right? If someone can't bring themselves to talk to you directly and then they're developing such strong opinions about you, I think that tells you a whole heck of a lot about how you should place those opinions in and of themselves. And so that's my opinion about that. My second opinion about the people who dislike you and who are seeking information to validate their dislike for you. So I think that for people who dislike you, the things that you do and the things that you don't do are going to irritate them. They're going to irritate and totally rub their spirit the wrong way. And I think that that's just a byproduct of them not liking you. Someone who doesn't like you doesn't need a reason, but they're happy to take any that come their way. So a gossiper gives them the opportunity to feel like, okay, my reasons or my causes for disliking this person are completely valid. But trust that a gossiper, even if they have something that you do that could be irritating, that could be a point of contention, they're gonna blow it out of proportion so that they are able to skew perception about you, right? So no one's perfect. I mean, all of us probably have things that we do that are probably, irritating, that are probably frustrating to other people. But trust and believe if you're doing it to someone who's already decided that they don't like you, they're going to blow that out of proportion. They're going to make it bigger than what it should be. And they're going to hold your face to the fire for the ways that you show up imperfectly. And so I've learned that people who don't like me, they don't need a reason to dislike me, but they're looking for them. So I do what I can to give them very little reason at all. I distance myself from people that I feel are gossiping. And this is a feeling that everyone gets. It's like an intuition that you have in the pit of your stomach that this person is two-faced, right? They have one face with you, they're smiling, they're polite, they could be agreeable, but you know for sure that there's contention there. Maybe you've caught sideways looks, maybe you just caught a vibe where you're you know what, this person is definitely not my person. But rather than make an issue of it, and I'm someone who's very much a no drama llama, you leave it alone and you manage your energy accordingly. So for me, if I get any sort of sense that someone really, I don't rub them the right way, then I want to keep my distance from them. I don't really care to engage, care to understand why. I don't think that there is necessarily a logical why to some of these things. I think people are irrational, and that's just a human quality that all of us possess to varying degrees. But I think when someone decides that they don't like you, everything you do is going to exacerbate that issue, right? So the things you do, the things that you don't do, and I just take it with a grain of salt, right? I try to keep myself at a distance, but just trust that if they don't have something valid to say, they're going to make something up. And if people don't listen to the things they're making up, they're going to make up things that are worse. And anyone who believes what they're being told without checking in with you first are people that you don't need to grieve, right? For me, I've learned through the things that I have endured that I'm wasting my energy grieving over people who I thought were for me, but who were easily swayed against me through words of a gossip. I think, hold gossips, people who gossip in high esteem. I don't hold people who hold audience with gossips in high esteem either. That's just the new value that I've developed. But for those who seek out people who are comfortable talking badly, poorly about other people to get a perspective on that person rather than speaking to them directly, those are both camps of individuals that I don't care to engage with. I think that I learned to just keep my space, keep my distance, and I think I'm open to finding people who are of the same mindset, who want to protect their peace, who aren't interested in drama, who aren't tantalized. It's not like this carrot on a stick to get bad news or updates about people through secondary and tertiary information streams. So I think when it comes to your reaction to a gossip, my reactions have evolved. I used to be so hurt, I used to cry, I was so emotional about it. But I think as time went on, as I was more and more, the subject of gossip, as the gossip in and of itself became more severe, as you get older, I think that smear campaigns become more sophisticated. They become, harsher and more pointed. You have to recognize that the people who bite onto that, the people who have had the opportunity to connect with you, to get to know you, who feel inclined to get hooked on the information, it just tells you that those people weren't your people, right? So a lot of people who are in your corner for the wrong reasons will also completely leave your corner for the wrong reasons as well. So I think that always it's a gift. It's a gift when you see how people divide and how people choose camps based on gossip. And it's a gift to know the kinds of people who do gossip about you, but it's a gift that you appreciate from a distance, right? So the way that I can rise above gossip is recognizing that anyone who is part of that ecosystem, feeding the ecosystem of the gossip, are people that I would rather stay clear and away from, right? And I think that before I would want to defend myself, I would want to fight for my friends back, but I don't think you have a friend in someone who is receptive to gossip. And I think that that's food for thought for everyone, because a lot of us think to ourselves, well, all of us are susceptible to fall for gossip. Well, not really, right? If you're very loyal to someone, if you really do care about someone, then what you hear gets fact-checked with the person that is the subject of conversation. But also, when that person is the subject of conversation, when they're not in the room to defend themselves, you're the person who defends them, and then you make sure that what's being said or what you heard wasn't true. But if those are not the roles that you're playing, then the role that you were playing in that person's life is a false role. So I think to protect and preserve my mental health is just recognizing the camps of people that I value, that I would value and want in my corner, and the kinds of people that I don't. And gossips definitely are people that I do not value, that I put no time and energy into. But I've learned that it's also equally important to not put time and energy into people who give time and energy to a gossip. So all of this has definitely supported my mental health. All of us are going to experience the spiritual fire of gossip, because it really does wreak havoc on your social network, but not in a way that's detrimental. It's actually in a way that gives you the opportunity to start brand new with people who are maybe more aligned with the standard that you should be looking for in the relationships that you hold near and dear to you. In any case, that's a topic for today, food for thought for you. Before letting you go, I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that we will be going live at least twice a month, every month for the foreseeable future on our Facebook page. So definitely be sure to tune in. These events are paid events. So if you do see yourself participating in our community on an ongoing basis, then I do suggest that you take a look at one of our package plans. Yes, so we do offer package plans over and above our live events, as well as access to webinars and workshops largely focused on self-mastery over and above these events. So check it out. Be part of our game changer community, being part of the change that you want to see, allowing us a small role to play in your journey. We are on the road to 1K, so we do invite you to follow us across all of our social media platforms, and we look forward to chatting with all of you very soon. We'll talk to you later.